creators. I'm going to be doing the demonstration for the crop and size project. As you can see, I've gathered a bunch of photos I took recently to use for this project. So what I'm going to do, and what I do recommend is if you check the metadata, if you click on metadata in your Adobe Bridge, you can look at the dimensions over here and you'll see these photos are straight from the camera, so they're much more higher resolution. You need to have at least over 3,000 pixels for this project. If you're saving photos from the web, you need to have really big files. So make sure it's at least over 3,000 pixels. These are 5,400 pixels, so plenty big. So what I'm going to do is select 15 of my photos. And you can do that by clicking on the first one and clicking on the last and holding Shift, and then you can select it all. Or if you hold Command, you can click on individual ones and select them out. So I have 15 selected, and what I'm going to do is I want to copy these to a new folder. So I'm just going to right click or control click, select copy to, and I'm going to create a new folder. So I'm going to go to choose folder. I'm going to click on desktop. I'm just going to create a new folder called crop and size for this. That's what you'll show me when you present on your computers. And just click open. So it's going to leave those 15 photos in your folder and then copy them to your new folder. So there's my crop and size folder here. Here are my 15 photos that were copied over. So for this one, I'm going to use this photo here. So I do recommend selecting all of your photos. A shortcut for that, you can click and drag, or you can press Command A to select all of them. And then we just want to make duplicate copies. So again, I'm going to right click or press Control and click and do duplicate. And it's going to make quick copies of all my photos. So what I'm going to do, I have my original and then my copied version. On the copied version, I'm going to right click again or press Control and click. And you could do adjustments in Camera Raw. You don't need to edit for this project, but if you want to, that's fine. I'm just going to line up my shadows and my exposure a little bit. Bring down my highlights. There we go. Once I'm happy with that, I'm just going to open it into Photoshop. You could open it straight into Photoshop, but if you want to kind of go through Camera Raw, that's fine too. So for this one, I do want to straighten my horizon. As you can tell, it's a little slanted. So I'm going to go to my crop tool. Again, the crop tool, if you're not sure where it is, you can kind of hover over each of the tools, and they'll give you a little preview of each of the tools. But basically, it's this fifth one from the top here. I'm going to clear out my ratio. If you want a specific ratio like a square crop or a 4:5 crop, you can change those ratios depending on what kind of crop ratio you want, or just clear it off and then you can bring it back to the original size. So with the straighten tool, I'm just going to click across my horizon like so and just pivot that a little bit and double click to crop it. And I'm just going to drag over my crop again. And again, if you kind of click on the crop, make sure you click on the photo so you see your little grid. Again, you can change the grid a lot of different ways with different views up here. Each tool will have different options at the top that you can modify the tool. So I prefer the rule of thirds grid. So what I'm going to do is actually line up my subject here on the right third, and I'm actually going to try to maybe bring up my horizon a little bit. So I'm just going to kind of bring it over so it lines up, and then that looks pretty good. Again, you could crop off unwanted things. You could make it rule of thirds. You could crop it, so your subject is centered in the frame, right? I could actually center them up like so. Have a kind of centered composition. Maybe I like that, so once I'm happy, just click on the check, or you can double click and then do your crop. So once I've cropped my photo, I just need to go to image size, and then if it says inches here, just switch this to pixels. And what we want to do is whatever the biggest number is between the width and the height, that's the one we want to switch to 1500. So, and because it's linked, it'll constrain the proportion to the other one. So if I press 1500 on my width, it'll link it so it'll change the height to that size. So you shouldn't see a number in these two boxes between bigger than 1500. If you did the wrong side, like if I did the height and not the width, you'll see that my width is bigger than 1500. So all you need to do is just switch that to 1500 and make sure you don't see a number bigger than 1500 in those two boxes and hit OK. So I sized it. So basically all I did was opened it, I did straighten my horizon, I cropped my photo, and then I sized it down to 1500 pixels. And then I just need to save this out correctly. So it is a copy. Make sure it's in the right folder. I need to change my format to JPEG, JPEG. And then I'm going to save this. I'm going to replace it because it's already a copy. I'm going to bring my quality down just to reduce the file size to 10 and hit OK. So then if I close my window and go back to Bridge, what you'll show me on your computer is your 15 before and afters. So I'm going to look to see your before and after, how you cropped your photo. And then I'm going to check your metadata and to check to make sure your size photos, I don't see a number bigger than 1500 here. So again, I do recommend make sure to use high resolution photos straight from the camera. Those are usually around 4,000 to 5,000 pixels, plenty of room to crop and size it down to 1500 pixels. If you're using smaller photos like screenshots or small photos from the web, a lot of times they start at like 1500 pixels, you're going to crop into it and then it's going to size up and look really bad. So try to get high resolution photos from your camera. Alright, thank you.